Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva tenopa Tishtra dridro meba Suto kayo mebawa Supo kayo mebawa Anurakto mebawa Sarva siddhi me Sutsame Tsitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Munsa Vajra Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe Eho Shuddhe Shuddhe Svoha Yamo Shuddhe Shuddhe Svoha Ram Ho Shuddhe Shuddhe Svoha Ramo Shuddhe Shuddhe Svoha Bamo Shuddhe Shuddhe Svoha Eyam Ram Lam Bam Shuddhe Shuddhe Soha Om Muni Muni Maha Shakya Muni Soha Om Ye Dharma Hetun Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tathagato Yavadata teshan chayo niroda evam vadi mahashramana yesvoha om chunam tam ejum tegyu deshin shekpesum Gyula gopa kaimba Gejon chembo dekesum Gejon chembo jingilo Gejon chembo ngodrusol Gejon chembo trashisho. This morning we were explaining the need and the importance to do purification practices. And we went through the text of the confession to the 35 Buddhas and so on. And now we will go to the practice of Vajrasattva. Before entering into the details on the practice itself, the practice can have different benefits, as we were talking before, of doing a practice of purification. Okay. Basically, there we could say that there are four main types of benefits that we can get from it, and four main ways of doing the practice, emphasis that we can put as we do the practice. One of them, which is the most normally well-known reason why we do a practice of purification, is we do the practice of purification in order to eliminate the negative interdependence that we have created in the past. if that we remember or that we don't remember. So I have done certain negative actions in the past. So what I do is that I will going to purify them in order not to need to experience the results of them. Okay? This is one way. The other way, which we were also talking this morning, is the fact that by recognizing our negative behaviors and so on, we redirect our actions. So by doing the practice of purification is also a way of acknowledging one's own negative habits and redirecting our mind to act differently in the present and in the future, which is also very important. But then there is another two levels which are also important that we can also do as we do the practice of Vajrasattva. One of them is the fact that all of us, at some point of our lives, we had situations that were difficult for us. There were some moments in which we suffered more. Sometimes we had fear. Sometimes we had a lot of anger that we kept within ourselves, and so on. Okay? So what happened is that there are situations in our lives that we go through, we don't know how to deal truly with it, and we remain with this blockage inside. And later in life, we can change situations, but still that same attitude, that same feeling, it's coming back again and again. Okay? Maybe when we were a child, this or that happened, and we were never able truly to overcome it, or when, I don't know, whatever, okay? The point here in the practice is not to go back, is not to do some sort of self-therapy, and we go back and we say, okay, what happened? Let me understand, let me change my view of what happened. That's not the point. The point is that we need to go back to the feeling, to the emotion, to the sensation we had at the moment, that somehow after we kept that pain, we kept that blockage inside. And as we go through the practice of Vajrasattva with the visualization of the white nectar flowing, we imagine that that blockage is taken away, that tension that was accumulated at that time is completely pacified. So what we do is that we don't go back remembering what happened to point our finger on who was the one to blame and why this happened, or try to change our view of what happened. We just embrace our own suffering, we just embrace ourselves, and we allow ourselves to be free from that tension and from that blockage that we have within ourselves. Okay? So as we go through the mantra, as we recite the mantra Vajrasattva with the nectar flowing, in brief time we're going to explain the visualization, but as we go through the visualization, and then we just imagine that specific tension, which maybe we have it since we were a small child, maybe it was during our teenage time, maybe it was when we start working, or maybe whatever other moment, okay? Something happened that it created some blockage inside and we are not able to overcome it. And this brings many other sufferings normally. It's like something that gets stuck and we are never able really to go over it. So in these cases, it is important for us to eliminate. Otherwise, it's like this example that a friend in Brazil gave once to me that I quite like it. It says, a dog that was bitten by a snake is afraid of sausage. So basically what happened is that because the sausage is round and long, even though dogs like eating sausages, when they see the sausage, because he was bitten by the snake, he's afraid of the sausage. The problem is that sometimes something has nothing to do with what happened in the past, but because it has some sort of similarity according to me, then I reject it. But then when I want it again, then the sausage has already run away and it's already always not there anymore for me, you know. And sometimes the side effects of our reactions are too strong also. You know, we have already thrown the sausage away maybe. So what is important is that we understand that we all have some sort of traumas or whatever name we like to call it. And there are these inner blockages that we keep. So we need to go back not to the actual facts, but to the actual feeling and sensation. Fear, anger, feeling not respected, insecurity, feeling that we were betrayed, whatever. We go back to it from the very beginning, and then that feeling, we allow ourselves to be free from it. We allow it to purify that emotion back there. This is the third thing that we do as we do the purification practices. The fourth aspect that we can do is actually to concentrate the practice of purification of Vajrasattva also specifically with our mental defilements. So as we do the rain of nectar coming, then we purify our anger or our jealousy or the grasping of inherent existence or whatever of mental defilement we have specifically, also to purify that, okay? So what we do is that depending on the moment that we are living, depending on the moment we are in our life, we may give more emphasis to one type of purification or another. Maybe there is a moment in which we especially recognize that we did a lot of stupid things, so better to purify that karma. There is a moment in which we see that we have many habits that we need to change, then we put more emphasis into that aspect. There are moments in which we recognize more that we have some traumas and things which are blocked inside, we can give more emphasis to that. Or once we have dealt with all of this, then we still need to deal with our own defilements and we put more emphasis into that. So somehow this is a practice that can accompany us from now until we go to enlightenment, actually. Okay? So this is just to give some idea of the different ways how we can do this practice. Okay? Now, let's go to the actual practice. We will go through some explanation of the visualizations. The version that we have of the sadhana here is like a short middle version. So there are some things which are not explicitly explained, but I will give the explanation in between also a little bit, okay? Let's go through the sadhana. In the sadhana of Vajrasattva, this sadhana that we have is a sort of short middle version of the sadhana of Vajrasattva. It's not the shortest and it's not the longest, okay? So there are some little things which are not precisely described, which I will add a little bit on them. So we'll just go through the reading of the sadhana. The sadhana is basically divided into mainly three parts, which is first developing the basis for purification, then after generating the merit field, and after doing the purification. Okay? So it starts by saying, I go for refuge to the triple gem, I shall liberate all sentient beings and place them in the state of enlightenment. I shall purely generate bodhicitta. This is when we generate the basis of purification. The basis of purification is bodhicitta and refuge, as we have explained yesterday. Okay? Love and compassion for others, and the faith and respect and gratitude towards the holy beings, which is where we take refuge. Then comes the actual visualization, in which it says, on the crown of my head, which means that we are on our own ordinary aspect, as we see ourselves. On top of our head, we will visualize Vajrasattva. There are different ways how we can do it. Some people just visualize it exactly like touching the head. Trijang Rinpoche, in the teachings in the United States last time, he explained that we should visualize like more or less with a palm of distance from our head. Okay? Because if it's too near, we may feel like something is pressing. If it's too far, then it's too far away for us. So more or less a palm from our head. So on the crown of my head, from a syllable palm, which is like a dot of light, which vibrates with the sound of palm, white in color, arises a lotus, a white lotus, or with 8 petals, or with 1,000 petals, upon which, from the syllable A, white in color, arises a moon disk mandala, also white. So in the practice of Vajrasattva, the whole visualization of Vajrasattva, everything is white. So someone may question, how can I visualize everything white? Just everything will just melt with everything else. How can I do the visualization and distinguish the lotus from the Buddha and the clouds and all these details? There are many shades of white. There is the white of a conch, the white of the snow, the white of the clouds, the white of the crystal. There are different types of whites. So we can imagine these different shades of white. And some of them more transparent, others less transparent, and so on. So, arises first the syllable pam. From the syllable pam arises a lotus flower. Above the lotus flower there is the syllable a. Again, a dot of light with the sound of a. From the a transforms into a white moon disk. When we look at the lotus flower, I don't know how many of you have the image of a lotus flower. The lotus flower have the petals around, and in the center there is this green part, quite big, where all the seeds are. Okay? So it's above that appears this cushion. It's a white cushion which is made out, it's like a moon. It's like which is at the nature of a moon. That's why it's called a moon cushion. It's like a white cushion that looks like a moon. On top of this, from the syllable Hum, so on top of the moon disk, appears a white Hum. And from the Hum arises a white five-spoked Vajra. A Vajra is this object similar to this one. And this is exactly the one with 5 spokes we can see on the 4 sides and in the center. So there is a white Vajra which is white like crystal. And then in the center of it again there is the hub of which is marked with Hum. The hub, which is the center of the Vajra, it's marked again with a white Hum. Okay? From this Vajra marked by Hum, light rays emanate and collect back together, transforming into Vajrasattva. When it says here emanates and collect back together, this is a very short way of saying that light emanates and fulfill the 2 purposes, which is that of making offerings to all holy beings and eliminating the sufferings of all sentient beings. And then after eliminating the suffering of sentient beings, making offering to holy beings, the lights come back again and reabsorb back into the white Vajra with the syllable Hum. Through the strength of the energy and the blessings of all the Buddhas and the merits of helping sentient beings and the merits of making offerings to the Buddha, as it comes back through that strength, it is then transformed into the whole full aspect of Buddha Vajrasattva. Vajra means diamond, which means non-dual, indivisible. Sattva means being. So there is the being that holds indivisibility. What is this indivisibility? It's the union of non-dual union of great bliss and emptiness, of method and wisdom, of compassion, love and wisdom, of relative and absolute. It's like all of this being one, this which represents the state of Buddhahood. So being, Sattva, is the one that holds this non-dual, indivisible union of great bliss and emptiness, of method and wisdom, of compassion and wisdom. And this is the meaning of an actual Buddha. Okay? So Vajrasattva appears as Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva is white, has a white colored body with 1 face and 2 arms, holding a Vajra and a bell. So Vajrasattva is holding a Vajra at his heart, a bell near to his wrist, to the hip, near to his hips. There is also sometimes the Vajrasattva representing with 2 hands embracing Vajradakha also. Holding Vajra and bell and embracing the motherly consort Dorjenyema, which is Vajradakha also. Dorjenyema, their consort is, the mother is white in color with 1 face and 2 arms, holding a cleaver and a skull cup. A cleaver is a kartari, which is this curved knife, which symbolizes the wisdom that cuts away ignorance, and the kapala is the skull cup, symbolizing great bliss. Okay, both are adorned with silken scarves and various jewel ornaments. The father sits in the Vajra position, which means with the crossed legs, and in his heart there is a moon disk in which there is the white syllable Hum, from which light rays emanate, inviting forth wisdom beings who are like himself. So, both Vajrasattva and Dorjenyema, both the father and the mother, they have the white Om in the crown, the red eye in the throat. Normally it's described a blue Hum. In this case it can be also seen as a white Hum, or it's a blue Hum marked by a white Hum. Okay? So, in this case, what happens is that from the father and the mother that are in union, and the union of the father and the mother also symbolizes the union of method and wisdom. Okay? Symbolizes also this state of enlightenment. So from them, from their heart, light emanates, going to all the Buddhas in the 10 directions, inviting them to come here. And here in the practice continues saying, they combine and become non-dual. One little thing is missing here, which we can find in the phonetics on the left side, which is za, hum, bam, ho. Okay? So before, if we do the practice only in English, when we say they combine and become non-dual, in between that it's good to say that za, hum, bam, ho. Okay? Za, hum, bam, ho means za, it's inviting the wisdom being, hum, the wisdom being enter, bam, they dissolve, ho, they become non-dual. Okay? So basically here the meaning is that the commitment being is our visualization, for example, all the paintings we have, the statues of a Buddha, all of this, whatever represents the holy being is called the commitment being. Okay? So then what happens is that in order for us to have this strong idea that what we visualize on our crown, on our head, is not just our imagination, but is the actual Buddhas that come and is inseparable of all the Buddhas. That's why we invite the wisdom beings to come and become inseparable with the commitment being. That's more or less what we do also when there's done the Ramne practice. The Ramne ceremony is also that of inviting the wisdom beings to become inseparable with the commitment beings. Okay? So when we say they combine and become non-dual, who is they? The wisdom beings and the commitment beings. Okay? Once again, from the syllable hum at his heart, the heart of Vajrasattva, light rays emanates and invite forth the empowering deities. The empowering deities are symbolized as the 5 great mothers, Mamaki, Pandaravarsini, and so on. And they give the empowerment, it's like empowering Vajrasattva to bless us and to help us to purify our negativities and so on. So, all Tathagata Buddhas, please confer empowerment on this one, on Vajrasattva. Request all the Buddhas to confer the empowerment on Vajrasattva. Having thus been requested, they hold up vases, the 5 mothers hold up vases, filled up with nectar of wisdom, and they pour down this nectar, which fills completely the body of Vajrasattva, father and mother, and thus confer the empowerment. As while they sing, they say, Omo sarvatata gata abhishengate samaya shiriye hum. Thus, initiated, Vajrasattva's body becomes filled with the nectar of wisdom, and his crown is adorned by Buddha Akshobya. So the body of Vajrasattva becomes Vajrasattva, father and mother, their body becomes completely filled up with nectar and light, and then as the nectar fills up, there is the little part that remains in the crown, it transforms into Buddha Akshobya. Buddha Akshobya symbolizes the Guru also, in this case, at the crown. Okay? And the so-called the father of the family. Anyhow. Then after that, we start with the part of making the request of purification. So up to here, this is where we conclude the visualization of the so-called merit field with Vajrasattva at our crown. And then the next part says, Bhagavan Vajrasattva, I request you to cleanse and purify myself and all sentient beings of our downfalls and obstacles, as well as our degenerated and broken words of honor. A difference that is important from this practice and the one of before is the one of before we focus mainly on our negativities. In this practice we are focusing on our negativities and that of all sentient beings also. So we are not asking to purify only our negativities, but we imagine that the negativities of each and every sentient being is being purified also together. So in order to do that, we can visualize at our sides, there is our father, our mother, our family, our friends, all the people we love. Behind us are all the people to whom we are indifferent, and together with them we can visualize also the people to whom we have aversion, or we visualize those that we have aversion in front of us. But the fact is that we visualize all sentient beings together with us. And then at this point, as it says here, having been thus requested, from the syllable hum at his heart, light rays emanate. From the heart of Vajrasattva, light emanates, Vajrasattva, father and mother, light emanates, going to all sentient beings, eliminating the suffering of each and every one of them, cleansing all sentient beings of their downfalls and obstacles, and making offerings to please all the Buddhas and their offspring, which are the Bodhisattvas. So The light rays goes to all the sentient beings eliminating their suffering, goes to all the Buddhas making offerings to all of them. Then the light rays come back and reabsorb back again into Vajrasattva. All their good qualities of the Buddhas collect back together in the form of light, which dissolves into the Hun at his heart, whereby his brilliance, power, and strength become the quintessence of the sublime. So at this point, the actual visualization of the recitation is not so clearly described in this more shorter version of the sadhana. But, or we can visualize that as the light goes to all sentient beings, eliminating their suffering, we are part of sentient beings also. It also eliminates our negativities also. Or the other way, which I personally prefer, is as we will do the mantra, we visualize that Father and Mother, Vajrasattva and Dorjanyema, they enter into union. Their bodies filled up with nectar, and then the nectar overflows from them. They are filled up with nectar as they enter the union of great bliss and emptiness. The nectar overflows, and between the union of both of them, the nectar overflows and comes down, and it goes down like it fills up the lotus, and it goes down to the lotus. And then this nectar comes to our crown, and then it fills completely our body. We imagine this white substance of very nice texture and a very nice temperature, like cool, nice, pleasant. And as it enters our body, it enters through what is called the Brahma door, the door of Brahma, which is the fontanella. I don't know how to say that in English. It's basically where it's open when we are just a near-born baby. When a baby is just born, there is this part of the head which is open. From that point, enters the nectar inside, and there are two visualizations. The first one is that the nectar starts filling completely the whole body, and as it fills the body, it brings down all the negativity. So we imagine like a lot of dirt being clean. So if there is something that is dirt, and suddenly you start putting something that is very clean, taking away and pushing away all the dirt. Okay? So it's like all the dirt starts going down and fill, and then our whole body starts to be completely cleaned from above to below and filled up with nectar. And then all the dirt is taken down of our body. And then from the lower part of our body, all the dirt goes out and enters into the earth, is absorbed from the earth. And our body is completely filled up with this white nectar. As the dirt is absorbed into the earth, it goes down below the earth, and below the earth there is this entity which in some cases is called the Lord of Death. Different names are given. But it is basically this entity that normally somehow nourishes itself from vital energy. So in this way we make this entity to be completely satisfied, and then this is also said to be something that is good to eliminate sicknesses and for long life also. So, first visualization, as we do the mantra, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya and so on, our body fills up with nectar, which is coming from Vajrasattva, Father and Mother. This nectar is of the nature of great bliss and emptiness, of healing and so on. It's like we feel this very strong energy nectar, it fills the body, and it's so pleasurable as it goes through each part of the body, and it's taking away all the dirt and negativities. This dirt and negativities that is taking out, what is it? Our negative karma, the bad habits that we have, our traumas and blockages, and our mental defilements, okay? All of this is being completely eliminated, and then we are completely filled up with a body full of nectar and completely free from every negativity. The other visualization that we can also do is that the body fills up with nectar. In this case, the nectar is more fluid and comes somehow with more quantity. So we feel that as the nectar goes in, it fills the whole body. And then, as if we take a container which is dirty and we pour a lot of clean water into it, slowly, as it overflows, all the dirt comes out. So similar to that, we imagine that our body is completely filled up with nectar, and then all the dirt starts overflowing from the crown again and going outside. And then again, the nectar goes out and is absorbed into the ground and is taken away. Okay? So in this way, these are the two types of visualization. The similar thing is that in both cases, our body becomes completely purified and filled up with nectar, and then it's important for us to develop this feeling that we are completely free from that negativity. Okay? We can focus on the negativities of body, speech and mind separately, and then together, all the three together, or we can focus on one specific trauma, or we can focus on one specific negative action that we have done, or we can focus on a specific defilement, and so on, okay? So, after doing the mantra, and the meaning of the mantra, it's mainly connected to the fact of recognizing our own potential of enlightenment, which is what allows us to purify ourselves from the negativities, okay? And after that it says, out of ignorance and delusion, I have transgressed my words of honor and let them degenerate. Which means out of ignorance and delusions. Delusions in this case means anger, jealousy, pride, miserliness, and so on. Out of my defilements, I have done many stupid things. I have done that out of my own ignorance. I have not kept my commitments. I have done many negative actions. Guru, Lord Master, Lord of beings with a nature of great compassion, to you I turn for refuge. So we say, yes, I have done all these negativities, but all that I have done and that now here I am to purify, it's just all done out of my own ignorance and not because any other reason. It's because out of ignorance that I end up doing all these negative actions. So Vajrasattva replies to us, child of the family, you are cleansed and purified of all your downfalls and obstacles, as well as your degenerated and broken words of honor. Okay. As Vajrasattva answers this to us, we imagine Vajrasattva, father and mother, saying to us, oh my child, don't worry, you have been completely purified from all the negativities that you have done up to now. Then we feel this sensation of pleasure, sensation of security, of well-being, of inner space, of lightness. Then Vajrasattva with father and mother dissolves into me and my body, in my body, speech and mind, and becomes inseparable from the body, speech and mind of Vajrasattva. Which means, after Vajrasattva saying to us, don't worry, you have been completely purified, then we can visualize or that Vajrasattva simply comes down as a sort of an hologram that comes into us and melts into us completely. Or what I prefer is to visualize that Vajrasattva becomes small like a thumb and that enters through our crown. So here where is the point of fontanella, it opens, Vajrasattva enters through our central channel, it descends joyfully, and then in our heart there is a lotus flower of 8 petals, and the lotus flower of Vajrasattva melts with the lotus flower of our own heart, and then he sits joyfully in our heart where there is a lotus flower with a sun and a moon cushion. And at that point, Vajrasattva becomes inseparable of our own body, speech and mind. Or better, our body, speech and mind becomes inseparable of the body, speech and mind of Vajrasattva, father and mother. So at this moment we can meditate on this inner state of infinite space, inseparable of great bliss and love and compassion, like ourself as the actual Buddha. So we bring the result into the path at that moment. Okay? With this, we conclude the practice of Vajrasattva, after of which we can do dedications. Okay? So, I would say that now with the explanation, we do the practice once together. Okay? The practices, they work very well once done. To know them isn't good, but it's not enough. No, we need to do the practice. So we will do today, and hopefully you can give continuity to it after. Okay, so I will just read once, as we did before, for the transmission. Even though most of you got the empowerment from Trijang Rinpoche, I will just give you the transmission once again. And then after that, we'll do the practice together. Okay? Oya kunjo sonla gyabdo razam jandam janda kindro janjo nela gobar ke janjo semni yanda ke
Rangi chivo pamle pema dan ale dawe kingorge tendo honle dorje karbo tsenga ba te wala honge tsemba telewe tro du yonsu gyurba le dorje tsemba gudo karbo she che chani ge dorje da tribu zempa yum dorje nyema karmo she che chani ge trigo dan te ba zembe kyupa niga an targe nasar dan rimbo che gen nazobe genpa yav dorje kiltrong ge shupa te tu kara dawe tento hon ye karpo telewe sertro randre ye shepa chen ran za hon bam ho niso me bar gyura laryan duke hon lewe sertro wange wa wange lhanam chen deshin shepa tam chegi dila ngombra wangurdu so she so wa tabe tenam ge ye shege duze kangwe pumba ton omo sarwa tata gata abi shengate samaya shiriye she wangura ye shege duze kang mikyobe ukembra gyur chumdende dorje sempa dada simjen damche ge digre dam tamze nyamcha tamchen changshin dabra zedu so she so wa tabe tuge hunle vesircho simjen damche ge digre jan sange seje la nyebe chubab tenam ge yenden damche wege nambra dune tuge hunla timbe sije dan tudu punson so bara kyur Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva teno parirariro me bhava sudokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava anurakto me bhava sarvasiddhi me prayata sarva karma sutsame siddham shriyam kurohum ha 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 ho bhagavan sarva tathagata vajrama me minta vajra bhavama samaya sattva ahum pe Dani mishe mambaye tamtse lenye ga shenyam lama gomba kyabzo che tsovo dorje zimbate tuje chimbo dani chen rowe tsola da kyabche dorje tsembe shene rigi po kyoge dikde dan tamtse nyamcha tamche changshin dago she sone rangla timbe rangi go sondan dorje tsembe kuson tu yermi che barai kyu. So we do now together the practice. Kuncho sumla kyapsu dro simchen tamche dagi drul chanchu nela gobragi chanchu simni yanda ke Kuncho sumla kyapsu dro simchen tamche dagi drul chanchu nela gobragi Chancho simni yanda ke kuncho sumla kyapsu dro simchen tamche dagi drol chancho nela gwebragi chancho simni yanda ke I go for refuge to the triple gem. I shall liberate all sentient beings and place them in the stage of enlightenment. I shall purely generate bodhicitta. Rangi chivura pamle pema dan ale dawe kingora geten hunle dorje karpo tse ngaba tewala hunge tsempa telewe sretru du yonsu gyurbale dorje semba kudo karpo she chi cha nige dorje dan tribu tsempa Yum dorje nyema karmo she chi cha nige trigo dan teba zimbe kyupa niga an targe nasa dan rimbo che gen atso pe genpa yav dorje kiltronge shopa te tukra dawe tendo hunye karpo Telewe sretru randre yeshe pa chendra Zahum bam ho nisu me pare kyu. On the crown of my head, from a syllable palm, arises a lotus upon which, from a syllable A, is a moon disk mandala. On top of this, from a syllable Hum, arises a wide five-spoked Vajra, the hub of which is marked with Hum. From this, light rays emanate and collect back together, transforming into a Vajrasattva with a white colored body, one face and two arms, holding a vajra and a bell, embracing the motherly consort Dorje Nyema. White in color, with one face and two arms, holding a cleaver and a skull cup. Both are adorned with silken scarves and various jeweled ornaments. The father sits in the Vajra position, and in his heart on a moon is a white syllable hum, from which light rays emanates, inviting forth wisdom beings who are like himself. Zahom Bama Ho. They combine and become non-dual. Laryan tuge hunle vesere wange la chen rang deshin sheba tam chege dila ngombra wang kurdu so she sowa tabe tenamge yeshege dutse kanwe pumba to ne Omo sarva tata gata abhishengate samaya shireye hon she wang kur ko yeshege dutse kam mi köpe öken bara kyur dorje dochumdende dorje semba dada simchen tamche gi digre dam tamse nyamcha tamche chanshin thapara tse du sol she sowa tabe tuke hunle vesretro simchen tamche gi digre cham sangye seche la nyebe chebabul tenam ge yönden tamche vöge nambra dün tuke hunla timbe siche dan tutobo pünsun so parai kyu. Once again, from the syllable hum at his heart, light rays emanate and invites forth empowering deities. O Tathagata Buddhas, please confer empowerment on this one. Having thus been requested, they hold up vases filled with nectar of wisdom and confer the empowerment, saying, Omo sarva tathagata abhishengate samaya shireye hum. Thus initiated, Vajrasattva's body becomes filled with nectar of wisdom, and his crown is adorned by Buddha Akshobya. Bhagawan Vajrasattva, I request you to cleanse and purify myself and all sentient beings of our downfalls and obstacles, as well as our degenerated and broken words of honor. Having been thus requested, from the syllable hum at his heart, light rays emanate, cleansing all sentient beings of their downfalls and obstacles, and making offerings to please the Buddhas and their offspring. All their good qualities collected back together in the form of light which dissolves into the hum at his heart, whereby his brilliance, power, and strength becomes the quintessence of the sublime. As Vajrasattva, in union with the Mother, Dorje Nyema, enter into the union of great bliss and emptiness, their bodies completely filled of nectar. The nectar overflows through the lotus and comes down and fills our body, purifying completely all our negativities. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Trishta Didro Me Bawa Suto Kayo Me Bawa Supo Kayo Me Bawa Anurakto Me Bawa Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddha Shriyan Kuro Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawa Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Suto Kayo Me Bawa Supo Kayo Me Bawa Anurakto Me Bawa Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddhan Shriyan Kuro Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawa Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Minza Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Trishta Didro Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anurakto me bhava sarva siddhi me prayatsa sarva karma sutsam Siddha Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajra Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Nishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhava Mas Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Trishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sut Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddhan Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Minsa Vajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sat Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsam Siddhan Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Vajra Mame Minza Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddhan Shriyam Kuru Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupala Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddhan Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bawa Sutto Kayo Me Bawa Supo Kayo Me Bawa Anurakto Me Bawa Sarva Siddhi Me Pray Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Tsidan Shriya Kuro Ha 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 ho Bhagawa Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mamim Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Ten Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddham Shriyam Kuro Ha 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 ho Bhagawa Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Trishta Didro Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Siddha Shriyam Kuro Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupala Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Praya Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Tsidan Shriyam Kuro Ha 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 Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Siddham Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Minza Vajra Bhav Ma Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Siddha Shriya Kuru Ha 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 ho Bhagav Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Siddham Shriyam Kuru Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munza Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsa Siddham Shriyam Kuru Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhava Ma Samaya Sattva A Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayasa Sarva Karma Sutsa Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawa Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Vajra Bhavama Samaya Sattva Ahum. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dishtra Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsam Sarva Karma Sutsame Citam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawa Sarva Gata Vajra Mame Munsa Vajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum. Dani Mishe Mombaye Tamse Leni Gashinyam Lama Gombo Kyabtso Chi Tsovo Dorje Zimbate Toche Chembe Dani Che Drove Tsola Dagyab Chi Dorje Sembe Shene Rigipo Kyoge Diktre Tan Tamse Nyamcha Tamche Chanshin Tako She Sune Rangla Timpe Rangi Gosom Dan Dorje Sempe Koson To Yermi Che Parekyu. Body, speech and mind of all the Buddhas with a diamond nature. Fulfill your commitment to take care of me. Vajrasattva, be near to me. Be my stable nature. Be pleased with my nature. Be very pleased with my nature. Be extremely pleased with my nature. Grant me all the attainments. Grant me all the siddhis. Give me mental power and the wisdom of the 5 supreme healers. Lord, endowed transcendental destroyer, I am indestructible diamond too, so do not give up on me. I have the Vajra nature of the great commitment being, the union of great bliss and emptiness. Out of ignorance and delusion, I have transgressed my words of honor and let them degenerate. Guru Lama, Lord Master, Lord of beings with a nature of great compassion, to you I turn for refuge. Vajrasattva replies, Child of the family, you are cleansed and purified of all your downfalls and obstacles, as well as your degenerated and broken words of honor. Then he dissolves into me and my body, speech and mind becomes inseparable from the body, speech and mind of Vajrasattva. So now
To conclude for today, we will do the last practice of purification, which is the Vajradakha fire puja. Vajradakha is a form of Buddha Akshobya, and which is a specific practice of purification. We have already talked a lot about purification, so there is no need to give any further explanation right now. Instead of explaining the whole practice and after doing it together, in order to have more concentration and in order for time wise also, I would prefer just to do the guided visualization, and then after that we will just go out and we do the practice together there. Ok? La pratica è composta di due parti. C'è prima sempre la presa di rifugio e la bodhicitta, come abbiamo già fatto prima, e poi c'è la visualizzazione di Vajradakha sul fuoco, in cui si trasforma il fuoco ordinario in un fuoco di saggezza, e poi dopo c'è la parte della visualizzazione della purificazione, che è quella che spiegheremo adesso. Okay? Poi la parte della visualizzazione di Vajradakha, eccetera, va fatta quando usciremo e si accende il fuoco. Okay? Quindi this practice, as the other practices, start with taking refuge and generating the bodhicitta. And then after that, there is two main visualizations. One visualization, which is the visualization of the wisdom being Vajradakha, which is generated on the fire, through which we transform the ordinary fire into the fire of wisdom, and through which we do the purification. And then there is the visualization of the purification of our own negativities. Okay, so we will first inside here, seated, concentrated, do the visualization of our own purification. Then as we go out with the fire, then we do the visualization of Vajradakha and the actual conclusion of the practice. Ok? Ci sediamo in una posizione confortevole, con la schiena dritta però non tesa. We sit in a comfortable position. Now we'll do the first part of the visualization of the purification until the part where our negativities burn inside. Then after, as we go out, we will throw the negativities outside, and they will absorb into the black sesame seed in our hand. And then each sesame seed is visualized in the form of a scorpion, because a scorpion have a lot of poison and represents the poisons of our own mental defilements. Okay? So we sit in a comfortable position with our back straight but not tense. Le spalle rilassate. Our shoulders are relaxed. Our head is slightly forward. Our eyes are slightly closed. Our mouth is relaxed. We are aware of our own breath. At our heart, the center of our chest, appears a six-syllable pam, black in color, representing all the negativities. All the negativities of body, all the times we used our body in a violent way, all the negativities of body are absorbed into the syllable pam. We openly admit, confess, all the negative actions of speech that we have done, all the times we used our speech in a violent way, all the times we were lying. We use our speech in a way to create division between others and manipulate them. All the times we were aggressive and violent, we openly admit and deeply regret. And all these negativities of speech absorb into the syllable pam at our heart. We openly admit and regret of all the negative actions of mind, all the times we lacked respect to those that we need to respect, All the times we wished for others' sufferings, we acted with a mind of jealousy, of envy, of arrogance. All the times we had violent thoughts, we openly admit our mistakes. And all the negativities accumulated absorb into the syllable palm at our heart. Our defilements, all the negative habits that we have created and we have right now, and all the blockages and pains that we have accumulated in this life and others, they are all absorbed at the syllable palm at our heart. As we inhale and exhale. We request the blessings of all the Buddhas, of Guru Buddha, to eliminate every negativity. We ask the blessings of Guru Buddha to help us to get the strength not to repeat again any of such actions. With a commitment not to repeat again, we receive the blessings in the form of light and nectar, through which a wind mandala from our 2 foot sends the wind upwards, coming from our legs. Again, it activates the wind mandala at our secret chakra with the syllable yam, green in color. And the wind enters our central channel from below, going to our navel, inside the central channel where there is the syllable ram, red in color, with a fire. The fire grows stronger and stronger as the wind blows. We feel the heat coming up as it burns every negativity in our heart. The syllable palm is completely burned, and it goes out in the form of dark smoke that goes out from our nostrils and mouth, and it will absorb into the black sesame seed in the form of black scorpions that we will offer to Vajradakha, and thus eliminating every of our negativity. So we concentrate in the negativities in our heart, and we concentrate on the wind blowing from our foot or from our heels, going up to our central channel from the secret chakra, making the fire to get stronger and purifying the negativities in our heart that will come out in the form of black smoke and dirt, and then transform and absorb into the sesame seed in the form of scorpions that we offer to Vajradakha, Buddha Vajradakha, in the fire. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tishta Didro Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsan Sarva Karma Sutsame Citam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Munsa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe